All right, I think we can start. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to Podman Desktop first community meeting. I'm very happy to be here. We have some good discussions and presentations today. But before we start, I would just like to take a couple of minutes to get the team introduced. I know you talk to the developers and then the other engineers quite often over tickets. It would be nice to say hello and put a face or a name, face to the name or the voice to the name for that matter. So I would like maybe Jeff, you could start us off. Just introduce yourself and what you do at Podman Desktop team, and then we can move along the chart.
Yeah, okay. So my name is Jeff Maury. I am based in Paris. I am the engineering manager for Podman Desktop for 2 years now, and I'm working at Red Hat for almost 9 years. That's it for me.
I'm just going through the chat. Philippe, do you want to go next?
Yeah, okay. So my name is Philippe Martin. You will find my nickname on GitHub, which is Feloy. I'm living in Bordeaux, in France, and I'm working as a principal software engineer at Red Hat for 4 years, I think now. So yeah, that's it.
Laura?
Hello everyone, I'm Florent Benoit, working also in France, in Grenoble, and I worked since day one of Podman Desktop. So, hello.
DV, I can see you next. Maybe you could go next.
Am I on mute? I don't think I'm on mute. So I'm DV, Daniel Veilla. I've been at Red Hat for a very, very long time. I'm also French, also coming from the Grenoble area at the time. I'm in the south of France. And I'm more known for Linux stuff, basically. But that's it. And I'm the director for the program at Red Hat. So.
Right. Nicole, I can see you next.
Hi, everyone. My name's Nicole Jones, Massachusetts, just about a little 1 hour outside of Boston. I'm the product owner for Podman Desktop, and I've been on this team for almost 3 years now. Thanks.
Stevan?
Hello, I'm Steven Lemer. I'm also French, based in Brittany. I'm product manager for Podman Desktop, and I've been working on it since the early days. So nice to have this first community call with all of you all.
All right, Tim?
I'm Tim DeBoer. I'm not French, just friends with a lot of French people, just outside of Toronto in Canada, and I'm an architect on the project.
Thanks, Tim. Masha?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yep. Okay.
Yes. Hi, everybody. I'm located in Brno. I'm a UX designer, so I love doing designs, talking to users and just understanding their pain points and then and fixing the designs based on that. That's pretty much all about me.
All right, Evson?
Yeah, hello guys. My name is Evgen Gasta. I am located also in Brno, and it is in Czech Republic, and I am part of engineering team.
All right, thanks, Evson. Vladimir?
Hello everyone. My name is Vladimir. I'm part of the QE team of Podman Desktop, and I'm located in Malaga in Spain.
Thanks. Charlie?
Hey, I'm Charlie, software engineer on Podman Desktop. I try and install it everywhere I can. I have an arcade machine with it, having it installed, just try it on different OSs and everything. Absolutely love it. Love building extensions.
All right, Andre.
Hello, I'm Andrzej Luchkal. I'm from Czech Republic, based in Brno. I'm quality engineer in the team. Nice to meet you.
All right, thanks. Sonia?
Hi, I'm Sonia. I'm located in Maryland, USA, about like 20 minutes outside of Washington, D.C. I joined this team almost a year ago as a software engineer.
All right, Ladislav.
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Ladislav Zhukovsky. I'm located in Ukraine. I'm senior software engineer and have been working with the Podman Desktop since its beginning. And that's about me. Thank you, everyone.
Axel?
Hi, hi everyone. So my name is Axel. I'm French. I'm located in Paris. I've joined Red Hat and the Podman Desktop team a little bit more than 1 year ago, and I'm part of the engineering team.
All right, Matt, you there?
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Hey everyone, I'm Matt. I'm the product manager for the team as well, and I'm based in Belgium, so very close to everyone, but a little bit further than everyone else. So, hey everyone.
And I think we have Shipra as well. Shipra.
So hello everyone, I'm Shipra Singh from India, based out of Panchkula, Haryana, and I'm technical writer for this project. And I like doing audience analysis and querying on their behalf for writing documentation. So that is also one of my key strengths. So yes, thank you everyone. It's great seeing you all live. Yes.
All right, and I think that's all from us. I'm left. So hi, I'm Rujuta, and I'm the associate manager on Podman Desktop team. I joined recently, and I'm really happy to be here. All right, so I don't want to take more time on this. I would like to start with the presentations and demos. I will hand it over to Philippe, and he's going to start with the Kubernetes experimental mode. Go ahead, Philippe.
Yeah, hello. So just give me 1 minute to share my screen.
Sure.
So you can see my Podman Desktop application.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So I will start with a Kubernetes experimental model. So Podman Desktop manages Kubernetes clusters for a long time, but recently we have created an experimental mode to make the detection of clusters and resources more robust. The problem we had before is that we were running watchers into resources directly, and there were problems with this. And so now the detection of the cluster connectivity is split into different parts. So let's start from the settings. If you go to the settings Kubernetes, you can see your different context for of your clusters. And you can get debug information here into troubleshooting Kubernetes. And so here we can see the details of the different steps when trying to connect to a cluster. So the first step is checking the health check of the cluster. So here we can see the cluster is reachable. And so if the cluster is reachable, Podman Desktop is getting the permissions for each resource Podman Desktop manages. So it manages about 10 different resources. And for each one, here we can see that the user, me, have the permissions to access these resources. And so after this, Podman Desktop is running informers. There are watchers for each resource for which we have the permission. If I change here, I have another context with the user which has only access to pods. And so now if I refresh, I can see I still have health check OK, but the permissions are false for practically all the resources except the pods. And so we have informers running only for pods. So it is more efficient. One interest of getting the permissions is that the UI is giving this information. So here I have still the user having access to pods only, and so into the dashboard we have all the resources, and we can see that only the pods here are permitted, and all the other ones are graded with deployments not accessible, and so on. And if we go to the different pages, we have also nodes not accessible, services not accessible, and pods here are accessible, and so we get the list. So I think I talked about everything for this experimental mode. Yes, I think. So yes, that's it for me. Thank you.
Any questions for Philippe? Thanks, Philippe. All right, I think, Philippe, next up is you as well.
So yes, the next one is about the Kreate extension. So it is an extension you can find into the catalog named Kreate with a K like Kubernetes. And so this extension can be used to create more easily resources. On Kubernetes, when you want to create resource, you have to write YAML generally. And yes, you start with a blank screen or black screen, and you have all to do with that. So the extension provides two things to help you. The first thing, or one thing, is to give you templates. So if you are using kubectl, there were a lot of kubectl create commands, which helps you have a kind of templates to create command resources. There is a kubectl create pod, and you pass a few flags with the name of the pod, some other things, and it will create the pod into your cluster. Or if you use the -- YAML flag, it will give you the YAML if you want to write it into a file and change it manually. So this part of the extension is based on these kubectl create commands. The extension uses this command in the background. And for example, if you select the pod template, so you can give the pod name, the image, the container image to run, and you can give a few other things. So all these other things are the ones supported by kubectl create pod command. So for example, annotations, label, I can put a privilege, and now I generate the YAML. And so you get the YAML generated by kubectl in the background, and it is displayed here. And so on the right, you have probably seen some documentation appear. So this is the second thing which can help you write your YAML file, your manifest. So you get into the page the complete documentation of because here we are editing a pod, you get the complete documentation for a pod. And when you move into the YAML, you can see, if you can see my here, the point, the documentation is adapted to what you are, where is your cursor. So for example, if you put your cursor on annotation, you get the documentation of the annotation. And so if you go to the security context, for example, which is kind of difficult to to know by heart, you can get all this documentation just on the side. And so the only thing, I started with a template, but if you want to get documentation for any resource, even for resources which are not into template, you just have to type the API version and the kind, and you will get the documentation for this resource type. And so when you have this, just to terminate, it should be data. You can create your resource into the cluster. And if you go, I have created a config map. If you go to Kubernetes config map, no, it won't work. This is a demo effect. But probably there is some bug, but normally you can create your resource directly into the cluster. So that's it for the demo. Thank you.
Thank you, Philippe. Any questions on this extension? Let me check chat if there is anything. Not yet. All right, we can move to the next one. Axel, you there?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
So I'm gonna share my screen. Full screening to be easier. So Podman recently introduced something that we call Podman Quadlets. Podman Quadlets aim to allow you to tie Podman resources, such as containers, obviously, with systemd lifecycle. The idea behind it was like, maybe you don't want, when you want to deploy something like on edge device, on something embedded, on something with low resources, or even on a small VPS server, because maybe you only need like 1 or 2 containers, or you have a pretty simple deployment use case, to not have to run a full Kubernetes cluster to manage those resources. But there is not much alternatives. Like, a lot of people use Compose, and it works nice, but it's not ideal. It's not aimed to be put in production, and you also have to create yourself some systemd services to try to start it, manage it, and it's not perfect. So the Podman team recently tried to see what they can do better, and they created Podman Quadlets. And on the Podman Desktop team, we wanted a way to allow you to interact and see them, edit them. So a demo will be better than a lot of words. So for this example, I will just create from the CLI ngx container. Like I will expose the port, and I will add some annotation just for the demo to see. But here, just basically, I'm creating a container. But let's say I want to create a Quadlet from it. I want to tie this container to the lifecycle of systemd. So from Podman Desktop, I installed the Quadlet extension. You can find it inside the extension page on the navigation bar, and inside the catalog, it's here. It's already installed on my machine, but you can install it yourself. And on the Quadlet page, I have nothing on my system yet, but let's go back to our containers. My ngx container, I can click here on option, and we have a lot of options, a lot of handy features that Podman Desktop provide. And one of them, provided by the extension Quadlet, is to generate a Quadlet. So let's try that. I'm redirected to a page. It selects my container engine, which is Podman, and the container that I'm interested in. Let's click on generate. And here we have basically NGX Quadlet, something very simple, that I can just load into my machine. So I could edit it. It's a syntax which is similar to the systemd syntax. So just for here, let's load into my machine. I can go back to the list of Quadlets, of Podman Quadlets, and I can see that now I have one NGX Quadlet on my machine. Before starting it, let's just stop my existing container to avoid port conflict. And I go back here. I can open the details of the Quadlet. I can see here the source code that I've seen previously. And what Quadlet is about, it's generating a systemd services from this configuration file, from this container file. So I have a tab here, which is systemd services, which is the generated file. You are not supposed to edit this. It's Podman, which is going to generate this file and give it to systemd. And we can access the logs. But since it's now a systemd services, you could still see the logs through Podman container logs, but you can just use journal.ctl. Now it's resources managed by systemd. So it's disabled at the moment. I can just enable it. We can see that it's going to do some stuff. Here are logs of the NGX. And I can go back to my containers list, and we can see that there is a different icon. And this icon tells us that it's a container managed by systemd. And just like any other containers, I can open it in the browser and simply see that it's working. I have a container, but this container has the particularity to be managed by systemd. So I can go back here. I could edit this to add other information. I could change the annotation. I could link to other container, to other thing to orchestrate my deployment, because no one has just a simple NGX to deploy. And I can just stop it. And this file can be committed to your repository. You can share it. And on any system where you have a pretty recent version of Podman and the systemd working, you can deploy it and make it working. So that's for quick introduction to Podman Quadlet. You can find it more on our website. We have some documentation about it if you are interested to learn more.
Axel, we have a question in the chat. Could you share what the Podlet is doing behind the scenes?
What's the question? In the magic behind that, can you share what Podlet is doing, please? Oh, here you are talking about Podlet. Podlet is a tool that allows you to generate Quadlet from existing resources, because sometimes you have very complex containers or resources, and it can be a bit annoying to generate a container equivalent from it. So what Podlet is doing, it's reading the it's inspecting the container that you are giving it, or other kind of resources, because you can tell it to, for example, to generate a Quadlet from an image, and it will take this to generate the file. Does this answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much, Axel.
No problem.
Any other questions for Axel on Quadlet? All right. If there are more questions, you can put them in chat and we would like to answer them as well. I think we can move to the next topic. Veron, you're up.
Yeah, can we move, because I need to reopen to share my screen. It seems that I need to launch again, but I can turn in a few minutes. But
I can cover the next section of the call if you want. In the meantime,
I will just reconnect.
Or Jutta, what do you prefer?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Stefan, you can go ahead. I mean.
Okay, so let me share my screen. So first, thanks for all the demo. It was super cool to have live demos during the presentation. So I'm going to give a little bit of an overview on the roadmap, but before, I also wanted to reemphasize a little bit the mission statement for the tool we are building. Really, our goal is to provide a simple onboarding for application developers to go from application to containers, to pods, and to Kubernetes. So for that, our objectives as a project are really to build a cross-platform open solution for developers to easily work with containers that runs on Windows, Mac, and Linux, and bridge the gaps between developer and production environment that we know can be sometimes very challenging. All of this in the mission of facilitating the transition from local development to Kubernetes deployment. So where do we stand in terms of projects? So we've been reaching and getting above the 2 million total downloads for the tool. And we crossed the 100K monthly active users in the telemetry of the tool. So thank you for all the users who are sharing telemetry that helps us to know how you are using the different features of the tool. And just this morning, we've been crossing the 5.5K stars on GitHub. So if you're listening to this call, if you have not yet started the project, please do share it and do start it. That's also always helpful for the project. We have to date 12 extensions in the catalog of extension, and most of our users are spread between Windows and Mac, with a little bit more users on Windows than on Mac at the moment. We try to ship releases almost every month and a half. So the next one, which will be 1.18, is coming in 3 weeks. And in the last 12 months, but I could go probably a little bit less, we've been doing a lot of work around the extension enablement, around the UI of Kubernetes that you've seen demoed by Philippe during the previous slots for demo. We also have been adding a lot of things in the UI to help guide the developers into using containers, into using the different Kubernetes technologies as well. And something which I will speak a bit more in details is that we have been adding ways for you as users to experiment with upcoming features and to be able to share feedback on those new features. So for us as a community, that allows us to gather feedback and to really tailor the features to your need and to your use cases as well. So in terms of roadmap, in the way we split the roadmap is made with 5 different themes. So the first one is really about everything which is related to the initial installation and the setup of the solution. So in this regard, we have a bunch of improvements that have already been done, but we are continuously adding more refinement to the dashboard, refinement to the onboarding and the setup flows. We will also have ways to create dedicated Podman context at the setup. The second theme is about the tooling foundation. So it's everything which is the default components of Podman Desktop. So things like the task manager, the status bar, adding an embedded terminal as well, and thinking about how we can transition to a more tab-based UI as well. The next theme is all the capabilities that are related to container management. So everything which is making it easy for you to leverage the container and to work with the container and for your container development workflows. So in this regard, we have a lot of work which is happening on enabling to leverage GPU with your container. So all of you who are looking at AI workloads, this is very, very important. We've been doing a lot of work in order to build a new virtualization tool on Mac that allows to access the GPU. It's called libkern, and we are continuously improving this component as well. You will find ways to more easily configure mirror registries as well, and we are thinking about revamping the UI for browsing the logs of containers. The next one is around Kubernetes support. So we are going to add more objects supported for doing port forwarding. We have Kubernetes namespace selection, which was a very must ask feature from a lot of you. So we will be having this added in 1.18. And we are still looking at better supporting Kubernetes, all the different resource type, and so on and so forth. On the ecosystem and extensibility aspect, so we've been doing work on the API for the extensibility, and I guess Florent will speak about that. But we would also like to be able to recommend inside of the tool the different extension, which can be helpful to you at the time you actually need them. So in a similar fashion like VS Code, when you are checking out a Python source code repository, it will propose you to install the Python extension. So things around those lines would also be of interest for Podman Desktop. The roadmap is public. You will find it on the repository. Of course, we are always looking at the different features that are getting created, or the different feature requests, sorry, that are getting created on the repository, on the feedback we are getting on the different communication channels. So feel free to reach out and also to contribute to the roadmap. I mentioned the experimental features, so that is a new way for the project to introduce new features. While we are building them, we also want to be able to hear the feedback from the end users, so that is easier for us to really make changes and to adapt the features to your different needs. So just wanted to bring a little bit of awareness. If you are going into the settings of Podman Desktop, you will find this experimental section where you can find all the different features that are actually available as experimental ones, so you can enable them. And then if you want to share feedback, you have links here that will redirect you to GitHub, where you can comment on the features. And with this, I think I cover everything I wanted to cover. Are there any questions?
All right. Thanks, Stefan.
In this case,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I will hand over to Florent in this case. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Stefan. So now I'm able to share my screen. So I will speak on the troubleshooting because everything is running very smoothly with Podman Desktop, but sometimes you may not know what is happening. So I will give you some tricks to try to understand and see how you can fix the problems. So first, sometimes when you have a problem, you are not the first one to face the problem. So go to the GitHub discussion. For example, you can see a lot of people asking questions here and you have some response. So it's a good stuff. As Stefan said, you have also the experimental features comments here. Then when you are stuck, do not hesitate to create an issue. Then trying to find the problem, how to reproduce it, give the more feedback that you can. And sometimes it's not so obvious, but Podman Desktop is like the GUI application running on top of the Podman, and Podman is in a separate project. So sometimes you may have a look to the Podman repository and see the issue. For example, if you have some troubles with the Podman machine, this is where you can find some issue. Sorry. Then you have at the bottom of Podman Desktop, like a chat icon here, which is share your feedback. So here as well, do not hesitate to share your feedback if you're happy, not happy. But please try to provide the email address when you are reporting some stuff, because sometimes you are saying, okay, I'm stuck, please help me, but you are not giving the email address. So we have no way to contact you and help you. So if you are giving some feedback, please try to give a contact email so we can reach you and try to help you to fix the problems. Then when you have some problems, sometimes you can try to see some helpful information. So here you have the light bulb in the status bar. And so Philippe showed you the Kubernetes entry here, but you have an access to the logs of Podman Desktop. So sometimes when you have some problems, you can go there and you will see like, okay, I have an error, and you can share this entry when reporting problems. It may happen that you are really stuck starting a Podman machine, I don't know. Here you can click as like the last recommendation, you can click on this button. It will remove all the Podman file, all the containers, all the volumes, everything. And then you will be able to start again from a fresh environment. So if you are really stuck, do not hesitate to try this red button. We try to maintain as well on the website troubleshooting guide with like the known problems. So if you are on Windows, if you are on macOS, on Linux, you may go there and try to see some helpful information. And if you want to interact or chat with us, you can go on Discord or on the Slack of the CNCF, and you can find all the links on the communication of the README. So you have the link for Discord, IRC. So yeah, to sum up, do not hesitate to share your feedback and provide helpful information. Then the next topic is how to extend Podman Desktop. So as you have seen in the current presentation, we had a demo of the Quadlet extension, of the Kreate extension, a lot of extension. So an extension is an OCI artifact, an OCI image that you can install from any OCI registry. So when you are in Podman Desktop, if you click on the parser, you have the catalog. Sorry, here you can list, but you can install custom extension by providing the full entry here. So you can push your extension or any OCI registry and you can install it from there. It may not be obvious today, but we are supporting two ways of extension. We have the Podman Desktop extension model, which is very fine-grained. So for example, we saw Axel showing a demo where here we are able to contribute some entries in the menu. We are supporting as well some Docker Desktop extensions. So as an example, here we have in the catalog the headlamp, and headlamp is a Docker Desktop extension. So if you are an author of a Docker Desktop extension and you want to see this extension part of the catalog of Podman Desktop, do not try to submit a pull request to enhance our catalog. The catalog, it's another GitHub repository. It's on the Podman Desktop organization. You have the Podman Desktop catalog, and you can just submit new entries here. So, for example, you can see new example like how to update a new version of an extension. The way of is working the extension is using Node.js. So we are using Node.js extension. And we are providing the extension point, which is a npm Node.js library. You can install it using npm or any other package manager. And you just need to provide an entry point in your JavaScript file, which is an activate function. And you can import from the API library a lot of extension point. You can see all the extension point from the Podman Desktop io/API. You go there and you can see all the stuff that you can do. So you have different namespace. So if you want to execute some stuff, you can do that. If you want to check the configuration, register new commands, see if you are on Windows, Mac, I mean, a lot of stuff you can do that using the extension model. And from there, you can see all the stuff that you can do. Of course, we are providing some UI library. So sometimes you can just provide a headless extension. So you are just contributing extension point in different part of the UI, like contributing new menus, new provider, new stuff. But sometimes you want to bring a full UI. So for example, this is the case of bootable container. If you have a paid dedicated web UI or for AI Lab or other extension. And for that, we are providing a component based on the Svelte framework. And you can see again from this link, Podman Desktop io/storybook. You can see some example like, okay, I want to use buttons. I can do the buttons. I have the primary button, secondary, and you can see all the samples from there. And instead of starting from scratch, you can just go to some GitHub repositories like the template minimal. So for example, go there and on the repositories, you can search for template. Then you see the template minimal. You click here, and you just need to do, okay, I use this template using and from there, you will be able to create a new, very basic extension. This one is very minimal. So it just saying hello on the console and bring on the UI hello world information. But following that, you understand how to extend Podman Desktop. And of course, you have more complex example. We have one with the web view. The web view is this part on the UI where you can contribute the full web page. And in this case, it's another more complex example. So this was an overview on how to extend and troubleshoot Podman Desktop. And that's all on my end. Thank you. And if you have some question.
Thanks, John. That was very useful. Any questions so far on any of the presentations? All right. At this point, we have some time. I would like to open up for any question and answers from you guys who have been using, or if you want to share your experience so far using Podman Desktop, anything that you would like to improve, please go ahead. Either put it in chat or speak up.
Or anything you would like to be covered in future calls, for example. That's so. The intent is to create a dialogue, so that's the first one. That's a little bit difficult, but we are listening.
No, maybe just a feedback on the last version of Podman Desktop, and I have especially deeper dive a little bit in the AI lab part, the extension, and yeah, so there is a lot that is now covered. Especially, I'm thinking about the introduction of Instruct Lab. Maybe I'd like to see maybe an introduction, in order to just cover, workflow, like, beginning with my app, and going to I fine tune my model, just really easy one, and then just make it, like a reality, even if that's not that big dream, but yeah, and really great, by the way, really good job done on that. And yeah, that's the point I have seen, and I have not tried so much the Bootsy part, but that will be also on my list, actually, to see how I can take advantage of it. And yeah, and then the other point are more coming from the field. So yeah, so I will keep you posted.
Thank you, Romuald. Yeah, we can definitely cover a little bit about building an AI application using Podman Desktop. It's probably a good topic that we could be covering in one of this call. That could be a good demo, but it can also spark good conversation. Meaning, as the world is entering into this new AI era, we probably need to think about what needs to be done, what are the pain points, and what can be done in order to help ourselves, application developers, into building this AI application. The other aspect is also looking at how AI can be integrated inside of tools like Podman Desktop. That could be also something we could be covering as well. So it's definitely a good suggestion for next topic on the next agenda. Thank you.
Cool. Cool. You're welcome. Maybe some AI assistant to write code in the Kreate extension, but you know, it will be like the
Stay tuned.
stuff. Yep. I will.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that are happening right now in the space, and it can be super cool. A lot of potential. We tried to experiment a couple of things, especially related to MCP server, and it's interesting to see that it can work, but it can also be producing some funkier results. So yeah.
Yep. Let's see. Thanks.
Anyone else? Preferably outside of the team, outside of Red Hat. I think that there's a few people. Don't hesitate, or introduce yourself, or tell us basically what's your story. Why are you here? What did you expect? Is that what you were looking for? We are all ears. I mean, you nearly have the full team basically listening to you at the right now. So enjoy the privilege. I don't have that very often myself, honestly. So go for it.
Thanks, Anthony. All right. If there are no more questions, we can conclude it. Just a reminder that this is a monthly meeting. It takes place every fourth Thursday from 9 to 10 a.m. EST of every month. There on the community repo, there is a new issue will be posted for every new meeting agenda. And we would try to, we are going to put the recordings of all of them together so it's easy to view in future. So do visit the community repo to get more information on that. Yeah, and thank you everybody for being here. Thanks Podman Desktop team for the awesome presentations and answering the questions. Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank
See you next month.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.